Jack, coming to you live with a piece of ginger in his mouth that he's chewing from the streets of Vienna. You may be asking yourself, say, Jack, why are you coming to us live from the streets of Vienna with a piece of ginger in your mouth? Well, the ginger is because I'm still off of Nicorette, and so I have to choose something that burns my mouth to trick it. The reason I'm not shooting this from my apartment is I have an Airbnb guest from Germany. I'm out here. See that in the distance? Here we are at the gates of Augarten, which is the park I wanted to take you to for today's video. Can you see the gates of Augarten behind me? Interesting, huh? Augarten is a beautiful garden, beautiful in an Austrian way, which means that beauty is forced upon the environment at great cost to the forcer and the foresee. It's the Dark Tower of Mordor there. So I'm not sure if you can see the tower behind me. I have to kind of speak quietly because you don't want to be overheard by Austrians necessarily when you discuss this sensitive topic, but that dark tower back there, smack dab in the middle of this park, Augarten. In fact, I think there are 4 towers like this, made out of solid concrete, and I believe it was World War II they were built in order to shoot the British and the Americans out of the sky. Apparently the concrete, it's so heavy, so thick, they couldn't really explode the thing after the war and drag the concrete pieces out of here because it's just like solid concrete. It's an anti-aircraft tower, so they just left it there. So now in the middle of this beautiful park, which is not so beautiful now because it's the middle of winter, they've got these looming dark towers there. And I think that that's a good segue into the theme of this video, which is Dark Night of the Soul. I'm trying to find a place where I can shoot this video. This is the second dark tower looming behind me now. I'm sort of in the forest here in Augarten. Can you see it behind me? I just found this interesting structure here. I almost feel like I want to do the video inside this little homemade hut. Okay, I decided that yes, I actually do want to do the video from here. This is going to be a quick video, and it's all going to be kind of in 1 or 2 takes because I'm running out of battery and I'm running out of daylight, and I don't want to get stuck in the dark in the woods in this interesting belly of the beast type broken tree branch situation I'm in. You ready? So Dark Night of the Soul is a term that I believe comes from Christian theology, St. John of the Cross. I don't know exactly what the particulars were, but Dark Night of the Soul is pretty much what it sounds like. You wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning, your eyes are open, and your heart is terrified, and there's a great yawning, dark, infinite chasm that has opened up in your soul. Despair, despondency, depression, anxiety, fear, horror. A volcano of negativity has exploded inside you. You are a Vesuvius of emotion. All of it negative, dark, satanic. Got it? And so a Dark Night of the Soul is specifically a spiritual malady. And it cuts to the core of who you are. You're asking yourself, what am I doing? Why isn't it going better? How can I get out of this situation? You feel like you're being sucked down into a kind of existential quicksand. So during the tail end of my time as a full-time Zen Buddhist priest and monk at a Zen center, our community was going through a lot of drama and trauma, and the tectonic plates under my life were shifting, and those shifts woke me up at night, and they woke me up at night almost every night, 5 nights out of 7 for probably about 1.5 years. And during that 1.5 years, I probably only got maybe 3 to 6, maybe 7 hours of sleep a night maximum. It was a dark time. So those dark nights of the soul would not stop. And I just kind of had to eventually get used to them. Now, they persisted more or less until I made the decision to leave the Zen Center. So maybe this is the first kind of dark night of the soul. Something needs to change in your life, and it's specific, like you gotta move on from or get out of a situation, and some inner, what is it that goes on way down at the bottom of us that causes us to wake up in the middle of the night and impart to us some message that we just don't seem to be getting? It's a kind of energy, right? And the energy that I had during these particular dark nights of the soul during my final year and a half at the monastery was, it was pushing me out. So a lot of times I don't think this energy necessarily has a message that it's delivering, that it knows what it wants to tell you. It's just a kind of force pushing up from within. And in this case, it was very clear. Eventually became very clear. I needed to leave the monastery. So perhaps that's the first dark night of the soul. Something specific and tangible in your life needs to change. So the second dark night of the soul, I don't know why I'm putting these into categories, but the second dark night of the soul is the kind that happens where something really bad has just happened to you. You've gotten, your spouse has been taken to the hospital, or you've been fired from your job and you can't sleep at night. So that's very specific. You know why you've woken up at 3 a.m. in the morning. You are terrified. You are terrified because something really bad has happened and an existential demon has sprung up right in front of you. I had one of these recently. I don't really want to go into detail, but it was a fight with someone I really care about, and it was a lot of issues around like present and future financial survival. Not living under a bridge came up, and that night I just couldn't sleep. I was getting just hammered by, like, I was on the deck of my lifeboat, and the demons of self-hatred and fear were lashing me like rains and winds in a storm. Very unpleasant. I guess we could say then that the third dark night of the soul that I've experienced anyway is the kind where things seem to be going okay in your life. You can't really point to any specific problem, but you just wake up one night in a cold sweat and you can't fall back to sleep and you have no idea why. So let's just say that these are the three kinds of dark nights of the soul. So what are you supposed to do about them? The guy on YouTube who asked me about dark nights of the soul said it was on a comment section to the video I had made about finding your sword. And he said, what do you do when you can't find your sword? Well, it's you die. You die. So first of all, what's been helpful for me when I have these horrible dark nights of the soul is, like, I have to surrender all hope of beating the thing or having a normal evening or going back to bed or feeling better. Like, what's helpful for me sometimes is to actually get up, fold my pillow in half, sit down on it, and do zazen. I tell myself I'm going to be up for the next few hours anyway. I might as well make this an evening sit. So that could be helpful. I'm not going to sit the dark night of the soul away, but what can happen is I meet the black, dark moment. I meet it. It beats me up still, but I do my breath practice. And maybe the difficult time I'm having can feed that practice and enliven that practice. Another thing I've done is kneel down on my knees and say a prayer. Usually I just do it on my bed, or if I'm with my girlfriend, I'll go do it on the couch or something. Kneel down and say my prayer. So not everybody has a meditation practice. Some people have prayer practices. Do your prayer practice, but do a specific spiritual practice, and not necessarily lying down doing it, because when you're lying down, you're in this liminal state in between sleep and wakefulness, and that's right at the sweet spot where the dark night of the soul gets you. You're not awake enough to be mindful and cognizant of the demons, but you're not sleeping so that they can't bother you. So get up. Another thing you can do is like automatic writing. Sit down at your desk and start having a conversation with yourself about what's going on. Put it on paper. When you make words out of an interior state, it demystifies it. And that can help you take some of the sting out of and shine a light on the situation. So we have three things we can do. We can sit on our pillow and meditate. We can get up and pray. We can sit down at our desk and do some automatic writing and give words to the feelings inside. Another thing I like to do sometimes is, contrary to what I just told you about not lying down, I do like to lie down and just do my breath practice while I'm lying down. So it's like zazen, but it's supine. I find that this can be helpful to just let me rest. Like sometimes you've got so much energy going on inside your head that you literally cannot rest. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. You hit a point where you are so spun out that you're exhausted beyond the point where you can even rest. Brother, sister, human being, lie down flat, rest your spine, your butt, your thighs, the back of your head, your neck, on your mattress. Take a deep inhale and fill your abdomen with breath, and exhale it, and just put all your energy and your focus on that inhale and the exhale, because you need to rest. No, you're not going to be able to sleep, and you're not trying to sleep. You're just resting, right? Because the demons are having their way with you, and you need to rest a little bit. So these are just some techniques and tactics that I've used to ameliorate the suffering and the fear that comes from a dark night of the soul. But usually the dark night is going to have its way with me, and that's fucking-K. Finally, I would just like to say that something good will come out of it. Every single dark night of the soul that I have ever been through, something beautiful was on the other side of it. So when you're having one of those real dark nights of the soul, no matter how real it seems, just know that there's an other side to it. You're going to survive. You're going to be stronger. You're going to have more clear insights on the path forward. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. You may need to make some really difficult decisions like I had to make when I left the monastery. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. That's why it took me a year of 5 dark nights of the soul a week to finally make this decision. It was brutal, but man, here I am in a little wooden twig hut in Austria, having come from a Southern California Zen Buddhist monastery, making YouTube videos, right? Completely died to my old life as a full-time Zen Buddhist temple monk to a traveling monk in a different country, alive, invigorated, reborn. So when you're in the bowels, in the belly of the beast of your dark night of the soul, just have that in mind. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and there is going to be a rebirth of some kind. Hey Hey friends, I think I was inspired to come out today and shoot this video in dying sunlight on a low battery because I recently had a dark night of the soul myself, and one of my conclusions after I got through this was that I had to look at my life and see where there was energy, and then I needed to put my care into that place, because you can't just live for money or even your family, much less your job. I think in life you have to care about something. And so I thought to myself, well, I'm a Zen priest, and I care about the people that come to this channel for guidance, as I often go to books and videos for guidance. So if you are getting some help from this, I'm putting the Patreon link below. You can go to Patreon, or you can support this channel on PayPal. Both PayPal and Patreon links are in the description for this video. I hope you get something out of them. And if you're having a dark night of the soul, turn on the floodlights. Not sure what that means, but there are Germans approaching from behind, so I'm out of here.